what actually a mouthpiece was designed for, other than to keep you from clinking your teeth together or biting your tongue. I had no idea that it was to align your jaw. The season that we did not use the Power Plus, we lost 4 kids, 2 that were season-ending concussions, and obviously we contributed to the Power Plus mouth guard because, like I said, we've not had one since we've been using them. Obviously, we've competed a lot better than what we did last year. We have not had a concussion this season. Obviously, a tremendous factor for us for not losing kids, and their performance level is a lot higher as well. My son was actually the quarterback on the second state championship team, but one of the things that he was able to do as being the quarterback, the mouth guard was on the lower part of his bite, so he was able to speak clearly. And that's a huge thing in athletics, is to be able to communicate.
Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. So like and subscribe and check us out.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.live.
Welcome, everyone, to the Beast from the East show, week 11. Guys, this is our first regular season. Wrapping up here on the Beast from the East show. Went by really fast. How's it going, fellas?
It's going good.
Going good. An exciting day of NFL football. We had some good college football yesterday. So
high school football yesterday as well, huh?
And we had some high school football yesterday. It bled over into the weekend. So good weekend. Good weekend. Excited to get these picks in. Fair warning, I don't care about my picks anymore. I'm not winning, so I'm not going to throw no long shots like Corey is. But I don't care about my picks anymore.
Well, you can still win a week. You can still get a 10-0 week.
Yeah, that's what I plan on getting a 10-0. I'm just saying, as the overall, that's out of my grasp. I threw my Hail Mary last week and nobody caught it.
You still might want to try to do it well enough to. There's this guy from DFW that's kind of infiltrated our picks, and he's trying to get ahead. I don't know if you want to throw away on that much, Kyle.
No. I'm like I said, I'm not doing the CM theory picks. I'm doing my picks, but I'm just coming with the first team that comes up. I'm not overthinking it and overanalyzing like I have been all year.
Hey, maybe that will help you.
Maybe. So if I throw a 10-0 here, then I'm never thinking about it again.
Well, I dropped one game, so I changed my pick with Tyler High and Longview, and that didn't work.
Well, that's why you don't go against the Lobos. It's a good theory there. Don't pick against the Lobos in district play. Anyway, so I went to 8-2 this week. Solid week for me. I had a couple that I missed. it was there were a lot of good games. I mean, honestly, that 8-2 out of last week was really good. We'll talk about that tonight on the wrap-up show, a little more in detail of how everybody stands and how everybody did this past week. But guys, let's move on. We've got a big week 11 coming up and a lot of good matchups, and pretty much I think we kind of tried to make these games, like these games matter this week. Got a lot of district championships on the line. You've got a lot of playoff seeding implications on the line, just making the playoffs on the line. So a lot of good games this week in week 11. Let's just start it off. We have a matchup between Mineola and Commerce. This district's kind of up in arms right now. You've got Winsboro and Pottsboro have established themselves as kind of the top of the district. And then it's kind of these three teams down below. We've got Mineola 3-2, Mount Vernon 3-2, Commerce 2-3, all trying to make their way into the playoffs here. Right now, for me, I'm thinking Mineola. I think they're playing well right now. They kind of had some questionable games early. They lost to Canton, which is kind of a head scratcher. Of course, seeing Canton beat Brownsboro, last week. So I don't know. The West Rusk loss isn't a bad one. When how good West Rusk is, Bullard is playing pretty well this year. They've been competitive against some good teams in their district. So I think coming into this game, I think Mineola is the established team. They know they've been there. They lost a couple of guys off last year's team, but I still think that they're going to come in at home and get the win in Mineola.
I'm gonna go with Mineola. I think that they are pretty much at this point. I think they're better than Commerce, to be honest. I just they've had some losses this year, but I just think that they're the better team, especially offensively. They have a really good team. So yeah, I'm with Mineola on this one.
Yeah, this game's kind of interesting. I said I wasn't going to overthink it. Okay, my gut says Mineola, so I'm taking Mineola. I'm taking the Yellow Jackets. But for the purpose of this show, let me overthink it. Commerce only has 3 losses, and it's to Winsboro, Mount Vernon, and Pottsboro. Mm-hmm. 3 pretty good teams. The interesting thing here is Mineola beat Mount Vernon. So if Commerce wins, and we're going to assume Mount Vernon loses to Pottsboro, then all 3 of those are 3-3, and all 3 of them beat each other. So Commerce would have beaten Mineola, Mineola would have beaten Mount Vernon, and so I think in that, because Mount Vernon then beat Commerce. So I don't know how that would all work out. But if Mineola handles business, they should go in as a 3 seed into the playoffs, and that is a lot better going in as a 3 than as a 4 seed. So they still got to play either probably Jefferson in the first round. So it's not going to be easy. But give me the Yellow Jackets, even though they struggled last week with Reigns.
Yeah, and this is an interesting district, cause and Commerce has to win. They're at a spot. They're win. If they don't win, they're out.
Right.
They're at 2-3. They are the outlier. So that will be interesting there for sure. But I think it should be a really good game. I've been in Mineola at home. That's going to be we talked about that a lot, but that makes a difference. Being at home in the confines of your own stadium. So, all right, let's move over to game 2 on the schedule. Kind of talked about this district just now, but Pottsboro and Mount Vernon. Pottsboro, we thought they would be competing with Winsboro, and they didn't really compete with them very well when they matched up. Pottsboro's got 1 loss on the year to Winsboro, and it was a 24-point win. So Winsboro's ahead of the class. I think Mount Vernon right here, they're in an interesting spot. Okay, so they're 2-3 in district play, and 3-2. I'm sorry. So if they win, they can put themselves in second place, right? Because they tie with Pottsboro at 4-2. Now I don't know how if Mineola also wins at 4-2, Kyle, that would be an interesting tiebreak scenario there. So if they put themselves with a win, they're for sure in. If they lose, they're at 3-3, and then they have to start watching the other game to see how that's going to play out. So
if Mount Vernon and Mineola both win, then you have the same scenario we just talked about, except with Pottsboro instead of
Right.
Commerce.
Mhm.
They all still beat up on each other. So
I know.
that's interesting. I don't know how that would seed out.
Yeah, and the game is in Pottsboro. You look at or you look at Mount Vernon. They've gotten better as the year goes on. We talked to our man Derek out there in Mount Vernon. They've got a young team. They're still trying to find guys in spots. They lost to Mineola. They lost to Sabine. I think that's the one that I look at and I'm like, that was an interesting loss. But to me, I still think Pottsboro is a solid number 2 in this district, and that's where I'm going. I'm going with Pottsboro in this one.
I'm gonna go with Pottsboro, because I really don't see anybody that would be capable of beating them after the loss they took. I just think that, here's the thing. When this year first started, I had Pottsboro number 1. But they, they're a team that, for some reason likes to play behind, I guess, in the standings a little bit. But I mean, we'll see. Should be an interesting game. I don't really think it's going to be that close, to be honest. So I'm going to go with Pottsboro.
Yeah, I think Mount Vernon has improved this season, but I think in this district you have Winsboro that's kind of on a tier by themselves, and then it's everybody else in that district. And I think of the everybody else in the district, Pottsboro is probably the best out of the remaining teams. So I think, especially with Pottsboro being at home, give me the Pottsboro Cardinals over the Mount Vernon Tigers.
All right. Game 3, Palestine and Athens, a virtual playoff game in week 11, as they're both coming into the district at play at 2 and 3, tied for that 4th spot. And it is a win or go home scenario. No other tie breaks needed. No other way this would be any different. So it's one of those games on week 11. It's hard. You don't always see those because who could plan the schedule out to have 2 teams facing each other week 11 that are going to be as meaningful a game as this, but it is. And so the game is in Palestine. I've seen a little bit of both teams. The Palestine tailback, as it thinks Denman, he's really impressive. I just think Palestine's going to have too much for Athens. It's in Palestine. I'm taking the Palestine Wildcats.
Well, here's the thing. Based off what I saw Saturday, when I called the game, Athens, basically against Chapel Hill, they tried to do the same thing that Lindale did. Only difference is Chapel Hill had a better defense in this game against something like that. And now you're looking at, okay, Athens, now they're teetering. They have to win, otherwise they're done. And then with Palestine, I said that if Athens had picked up the win, that Palestine was pretty much done. Because I just didn't think that if Athens had beat Chapel Hill, I just don't think that Palestine could hang with being tired on defense all night long. And now you're seeing Athens and who they are, but they did lose. Palestine, they have to win this game. Obviously, they're used to going to the playoffs almost every single year. Athens is not. Athens has pretty much had a little bit of a bad team, off team, the past couple of years, but they have a good coach. They have a really good quarterback. And they have a pretty big offensive line, as we all saw Saturday. So
it was a good quarterback and a good coach. Maybe I missed it. Are you talking about Athens?
We're talking about
we're talking about Athens. Yeah. But
I don't give them that much credit.
Yeah. No. No. I was just saying that it is a better improvement from what we saw last year. Because last year they weren't really that good, but this year, if you would have told me that Athens would have been in a playoff position at the end of the year, I would have told you were crazy. So I'm all about controversy and everything like that and craziness with football. So I'm gonna go with Athens to make the playoffs for the first time in God knows how long.
Well, to answer your question, the last time they made the playoffs was 2019, so not too long ago.
Oh, so my freshman year.
So 2019. I've been impressed with Athens here recently. Just the way they looked good in the first half against Chapel Hill on Saturday. Were able to hit a couple of big plays, and then playing Kilgore as close as they did is impressive as well. So I've been impressed with how Athens has been playing recently, but Palestine, to me, I think Palestine just has more athletes than Athens has. And Palestine played Lindale really close, whereas Athens almost didn't even show up for the Lindale game. So based off a common opponent in that, and then Palestine being at home, give me Palestine.
So I'm gonna say something. I came in just in time. I want to talk about this game. Well, I want to talk about one opponent. First of all, I'll take nothing against the kids. Kids do whatever the coaches allow them to do. It was very disrespectful. Athens had a very good game plan up front. I thought it was a cool game plan. They tried to do the same thing Athens, Lindale did. They just don't have the offensive line Lindale has or the discipline Lindale has. Let's just go ahead and say that. And they came out and they strike first. Nothing against them. I think they have some pretty decent. I think they have better athletes at the skill position. Let's just say that. But Dad, you don't punt the football? Like, that's a little disrespectful. Now, y'all know what that is. Like, oh, you don't respect me enough to punt the football? Got you.
Corey,
Got
I don't think that's what it was. I mean, that's what it was.
That's exactly what it was.
What it was is they
I
said
know what you're saying. Oh, it's a game plan. No, that's you being disrespectful. You know you need to punt the football. And you know you need to punt the football. But it's okay. It worked. It worked to their defense. It did work. But at the end of the game, what they started doing, punting the football. Right? Because guess what? I'm gonna make you punt the football now. So, it was a little disrespectful, but it's okay. I got you, whether it's a game plan or not. Me, as from a coaching hat, that to me, that's disrespectful. I understand the game plan wise, but me, that's just like, you're not gonna punt against me. So what you're saying? You think you can score? You think you can get a first down anyway? Wow. Okay, I got you. So my defense isn't that good. Got you. 4th and 7, and you're gonna throw it? Disrespect. That's what that means. So you know what? I'm going for Palestine. I think Palestine's a better team. I think Palestine's buckled down a little bit more. No, the trickery's not going to go against Palestine. Palestine know they got to make the playoffs. Palestine's going to come. I hope it's 45-0. Palestine know they got to make the playoffs.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
they know they got to make the playoffs.
But it's funny. Here's the thing with Athens. When we saw them play Saturday, it was just kind of like, they were doing good, and first quarter was going great, and kind of a little bit of the second, and then all of a sudden they just started. To your point, was like telling Chapel Hill, we don't think you're good enough on defense to hold us on a 4th and 5. And the fact that I don't want to say it was disrespectful, but I think that was just kind of, that was basically saying, we just don't think that your defense is good enough. And Chapel Hill, with their good defense, made them pay for it. So, I mean, that's.
I feel like that's something you do in Madden, right? 4th and 1 from your own 20, you go for it with that play.
Yeah, but I mean,
this is what I would do in Madden. I did that in Madden. No, I'm not punting the football. I'm not punting the football, fellas.
I mean, but here's the thing in Madden. In Madden, I mean, I know it's a video game, but in Madden, you basically are, depending on what team that you play with, like say for example you go play with the Chiefs or the Buccaneers or the Seahawks or the Eagles, you're going to go for it with those teams. But if you go for it with like the Ravens, who really don't have a good enough passing attack, other than what they've other than what we've seen from last couple of weeks. But if you go with the Ravens or somebody like that or the Patriots, you're not going to get that. And that's what we saw with Athens. Athens just, for one, they didn't have a good throwing game. They were throwing these little slow slant routes. I mean, they connected on one and took it for 60 for a touchdown. I mean, I get it, but it's like they're when it came to them passing the ball, it wasn't great. And even though their offensive line was big, it wasn't good against the pass because you saw guys like Trevor Brooks was just rushing off the edge very easily, which we are accustomed to seeing. So, I mean, I think the Athens is good. I just think that they can't do that against Palestine because Palestine is going to be ready.
I'm gonna leave you with this note. They've beaten 2 teams with winning records all year long. You know what they were?
Rusk is one of them.
Wow.
Rusk and Brownsboro. They beat Rusk by 7 and Brownsboro by 1. They ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. Speaking of Rusk, Rusk is our next game, Corey. Game 4. Rusk hosts Canton in actually an important game here, guys. This is not one that we've kind of had pinpointed to be an important one. Coming down in this district, you've got your top 3 as Carthage, Van, Center kind of cemented themselves. You've got Rusk at 2 and 3, and Canton at 1 and 4. Kind of talked about this when we were talking about the games. So we got Brownsboro and Bullard at 1 and 4. Those 2 teams are also there in the mix technically. Unfortunately for them, on the other side of the field, Brownsboro's got Center, which not a real good matchup for them. And Bullard has Van, also not a real good matchup. So I'm gonna just say we're gonna mark those guys out. They're if they win those games, well, I'll give them some love, but just don't see it happening. So you got this game between Rusk and Canton. So if no kind of shenanigans happen in those games, this is a play-in game. If Canton wins, guys, they make the playoffs. I mean, who would have thought we would get down to the end of the season in week 11 and we're talking about Rusk and Canton for a playoff spot? I know I wasn't. I mean,
not Ken.
And you look at Canton, and they beat Mineola, which we talked about that game earlier, Mineola's game. They beat Maybank, and they beat Brownsboro last week. They've got 3 wins. They're 1 and 4 in district, and they have a chance to go on the road and probably I don't want to get too in front of it, but maybe their biggest win in school history if they were to win this game. I mean, Canton's not a powerhouse football team, Kyle. I know you have that KMU background, but when's the last time Canton in football has been really good?
Well, I mean, I think you got to go back to the G.J. Kinney years when he was in Canton. They were good then when his dad was the coach too. I know that was a while ago, but
that's a while back. I mean,
they've had good. I mean, recently, no, they haven't been very good. But when you go back to like when I was in school, when we were playing Canton, they had some salty teams then. Biggest win in program history seems like a little bit of a stretch.
In a while, maybe. Then.
Yeah, I don't.
15 years probably.
Yeah. I've seen Rusk. I saw Rusk a little bit on Saturday. When you look at Canton's schedule, their losses are to really good teams: Winsboro, Center, Van, Carthage. That's 4 of their 6 losses. The other loss is to Caddo Mills by 3. Caddo Mills is a good football team. And then the 6 losses to Bullard, I don't think that's a good loss for them. But my point being is that they've played a tougher schedule than Rusk has. So maybe, just if I'm trying to play devil's advocate for Canton here, maybe they're a little more battle tested than Rusk is, and maybe that can help them going into this game. I just don't. I don't know. I don't see it. I'm taking Rusk in this game. I don't see it would. Canton needs the win and a Bullard loss, which we all assume that's going to happen. All Rusk has to do is win. They don't need any other help. They control their own destiny. So, Yeah, this game being in Rusk, so give me the home team.
Yeah, I didn't take my choice while ago, but I am going with Rusk. I just think looking at the teams that they've lost to on their schedule are pretty solid. The Athens one's okay. Is like but Athens is also competing in for a Division 1 playoff spot right now. They've got a chance to make the playoffs. So, I mean, I wouldn't say their schedule was death row or anything, but it's a solid schedule. And so I think Rusk is going to win and take their playoff spot, and they're going to go to play Pleasant Grove the next week, and then there she blows. So I'm taking Rusk.
Yeah, and I think we all know they're not beating the number one defense in 4A overall, and in my opinion, they're not doing it. Listen, Rusk. To be honest with you, they're gonna win this game. Ken, I love Ken. I love what they're doing. They showed up really, really big defensively against Brownsboro. Even though we all in this district, we just all think that's probably the biggest upsetting loss of the district, seeing Brownsboro go down to Ken. I mean that would be their biggest win in a while if they can beat Rusk. But I just don't see it. I mean, especially with what Rusk is doing with throwing the ball too. They run the ball. I mean, they're probably more effective in my opinion running the ball than they are throwing. But I just don't see it. Russ is going to win this game. And yeah, they got one more week. I don't know. Maybe they upset PG. Likelihood is like 1% on that. That's probably not going to happen. So, I mean, we'll see. But I got Rusk.
I mean, it's very simple. I mean, Russ wins the game, and it's at home, senior night, more than likely. I don't even think it's close. I think Russ wins by at least 3 touchdowns. They don't even give him a chance to. That's you're looking at mentality at this point. Like you don't want him to hang around. Like just end it. Just make it. Don't make it a slow death. Make it real quick. Just end it. Get it out the way. Let's go home.
Hey, speaking of slow death, that game that I was at Friday night was painfully. I don't know if you guys caught any of the highlights, but the mercy roll was definitely a good one there in Taps. That was something else.
How was the how are the facilities?
They were not bad. I mean, it was in a little small, almost near the downtown area of Houston, but it wasn't really near the traffic, kind of like the Covenant one. We had to sit on top of the press box, but the people there at the Village School in Houston, they were really nice. They helped us get the stuff up. We ran into some traffic in Corrigan. There was a bad wreck, 2 or 3 miles. It was just dead, still traffic. So we turned around and went backwards up, got back on 45 and came through and got there for a 6 o'clock kickoff. We got there at about 5:15.
Ooh.
So,
but
2-man crew set up and on air before 6 o'clock. So,
nice.
So I mean, it was stressful. Replay didn't get a chance to test the replay. Replay didn't work, but wasn't a whole lot of replay needed. It was pretty much a shellacking. It all stretches the imagination. But
There's something wrong with the scoreboard. I was like, how's that 55 to nothing in the second quarter?
Nope, there wasn't anything wrong with the scoreboard, Corey. It was that was the real score. And if you want to go back and see how bad it really was, you can watch it on NETSN for as many times as you want.
Or how good it was if you're a Brookfield fan.
Yeah, right. True. My family had a watch party going on at my in-law or sister and brother-in-law's house, and so they were there. They were watching. So there was not a whole lot of Brookfield faithful there that made the trip, but they all got to watch it. So it was a good thing. So all right, let's go to the next pick here, guys. We've got Game 5. a seeding game here. New Diana, Queen City. Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong. It's for third and fourth place, correct?
Correct.
Winner
the
gets
winner's the
third.
3 seed, loser's the 4.
All right, so that's what I thought. Looking at this game, New Diana, then they started off. We were talking about them early, how well they were playing. They ran into Harmony and Dangerfield in that district. We all know how good they are. That's their only 2 losses in district play. And so with Queen City. So you've got 2 teams looking for playoff matchups. And Kyle, you said you had those matchups. Who possibly would these 2 play 3-4 game?
So if the 3 seed is looking at Anderson Shiro, and then the 4 seed would get the Newton Eagles in round 1.
Ooh.
Oh.
I think you don't want to play Newton. I think that team's not. I think they're pretty good.
You don't want to be the 4 seed.
Wait. Does Newton get a home? Do they get a home playoff game?
Why would they?
No, they don't.
No, I'm just asking. I mean, I know some teams do get home playoff.
No,
that's 5A and 6A.
5A and 6A.
Okay. I was just making sure.
It doesn't matter where it is. It's not going to matter where that game is played. I don't think, Christian.
They can play it on.
Well,
the moon.
I mean, that's a walk to the gallows on that one.
So basically, if you're New Diana, Queen City, it's a must win. You don't want to play Newton first round. That's like a death sentence, almost like we talked about with the Pleasant Grove that Rusk is shooting for. I'm just looking at the way they competed against. Like New Diana compete. They were really close. They lost to Harmony by 1. And then of course Dangerfield beat them pretty bad. Queen City, on the other hand, Dangerfield just blew them out even worse. They didn't compete against Harmony either. I think New Diana is the next best team behind those 2 in this district. So I'm going with New Diana to win the game at home against Queen City.
I'm gonna go New Diana because well, for one, I just feel bad for them, and the other thing because I don't want to see any of them play Newton, to be honest with you, especially the role that they're going on, and they may be a state champion contender, to be honest. Now we don't know, but I mean it's Newton. But I'm gonna go with New Diana. I just don't want to see them play Newton. I just don't want to see it. I think that's really the only reason why I'm picking them. But no, I think it'll be a good game. But I'll go with New Diana.
Yeah, I'm taking New Diana. I haven't been impressed with Queen City. New Diana started off undefeated, and then, like you said, their only 2 losses are to the 2 teams above them in district play. So I don't see any reason why they're going to lose to Queen City. So give me the Eagles.
Somebody asked the question: is it New Diana, a New Diana? So it was some weird country way of saying it. I know you've heard it before, but I don't know. I don't know why that came to me, but I'm picking Dirty Diana, a New Diana, whatever the Diana it is. That's what I'm picking. It ain't gonna be Queen City. I don't like that much.
Oh, game 6. Anna and Sulphur Springs. This is for the district championship in this district. Anna comes into the game with 1 loss. They lost to some team called Solana. I don't know if you guys heard of Solana. They're not too bad from what I hear.
They're good.
And so
they have 8 championships.
They're really good. They just can't.
Sulphur Springs comes in right now at 8-0 as well. They lost to Mount Pleasant game 2. Man, I give a shout out to Sulphur Springs. I mean, I don't know if any of us thought that they would be this good this year. I know I really didn't think they would be, and they just keep winning. Unfortunately, I think that winning streak of 7 games comes to an end as they're going to play in Anna, and I think Anna's going to take them out, and Anna's going to take the district championship.
Well, basically, I've been kind of looking at that district a little bit. Listen, Sulphur Springs. I like Sulphur Springs. They're one of the, in my opinion, they're one of the best programs in Texas high school football history. I mean, you look at their 2008, I think it was 2008-2009 state championship team, and my former head coach for high school, Jeff Ridden, was the offense coordinator. And they have been really, really good this year. But we got to understand something. Salina's run, the way they run the ball is just ridiculous. I mean, just over the past 3 years, they've been able to consistently just pound the ball on the ground consistently. So Salina will make an example out, and it won't. And to be honest with you, it won't be close.
Well, if Solana was playing this game, Christian, that might.
Oh wait, shoot, Blair.
I
lost. Okay, so by the way, so I have Anna Sulphur Springs. I have literally Anna Sulphur Springs and Salina, literally all on my screen right now. Like I'm literally looking at that right now. So that's my fault.
Okay,
but no, I'm a.
Just making sure you're getting the right team picked here, man.
No, I
don't want you to have any excuses later. Well, I said Salina, but I meant if Sulphur Springs wins, I meant to say Sulphur Springs. I don't want to have any of that happening here.
No, I'm gonna go with Sulphur Springs.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna go with Sulphur Springs. I may change it later because.
Nope, no changing. Now you have put it on the
live
air.
with the lie.
Depending on, listen,
you got to go with what you pick on the show. That's the rule of being on the show. You go with it. You go with it, and you stay with it. I don't ever change mine. Corey, who you got? Kyle's frozen, I think. I'm not sure he's with us.
Don't say Salina.
I'm picking Anna. Oh, no. I'm picking Anna. Anna's really good. They're not joking. I don't think Sulphur Springs is as strong as we think they are. I think they're good. I just don't think they're that good. No disrespect to them at all. I mean, they're a very good program. They've had a very good year, but I think Anna's better. And that, and on top of that, they're playing at home. So I think they're playing. Let me not make that mistake. Let me go back. Got the wrong year up here.
It is at home. It's an
it's an Anna. So that's a little drive. It's not a short drive. It's a little drive. It's at least hour and a half for Sulphur Springs to get there. And I mean, it's it's a game that you don't necessarily. I mean, Sulphur Springs already in the playoffs, but if you're Anna, you might as well just go ahead and win it all. So then go ahead and win the district. Go on top. Don't let a little game like this destroy you from winning district. So clearly, these are first place and second place teams. So, you might as well go ahead and take district and win it. But then again, this is another game for Sulphur Springs to come out on top. Nobody's picking you to win the game. Anna's number 1 and number 2 in the state right now, number 3. So, if you're Sulphur Springs, you've got to go in there and shock everybody and get a win. So, I don't know. A lot of odds are going to be on this game, but I think Anna's going to win it. I don't think it's going to be a big margin. But 35-28, 35-21.
Okay.
No, I'm going big time on this one. I'm a probably say it'll probably be a 45-42 ball game.
Okay.
Maybe Sulphur Springs pulls out a field goal on them.
All right. We lost Kyle for a minute. He'll be back here in a second, he said. So we'll continue on. We'll get his pick here in a minute. Game 7. Dangerfield versus Corey. How do you say it?
Harmony. I have my list of teams.
Okay.
I have my list of teams here when I pick the winner. But I'm like, he must be talking about Harmony. Harmony.
There you go. There we go. Harmony. Dangerfield Harmony, another matchup for the district championship, guys. We looked at this game preseason. We knew we were going to be getting ready for it, excited for it, week 11. I honestly thought that Harmony would have had a little smoother route to this game. They've had a rough season. You look at Harmony; they're 7-2. They lost to Hooks week 1. wasn't that bad of a loss. Hooks is really good. They lost to Beckville. I think we thought that might not be a great loss, but Beckville's come out and just thumped people. And then they've rolled off 6 straight wins here, looking for Dangerfield. The game is in Dangerfield. I still think Dangerfield's the best team in this district, and so I'm going to go with Dangerfield in Dangerfield for the win.
I'm gonna go with Dangerfield. I just Harmony. I don't think they can stop Ashton Williams. To be honest with you, I mean, per game he has 173 yards per game. I mean, he's a monster. I don't think that they I just don't think they can be stopped. And who are their only losses to? Because haven't they only lost 2 games?
Yeah, that's what I said. Beckville and or the games.
So yeah, I other than
those are 2 good losses.
They're not bad. I think the Beckville loss we thought was bad, but the way Beckville's played here recently, I don't think that's near as bad a loss as what we thought originally.
Yeah,
I don't mind those 2.
Yeah, I don't think that, because like y'all said, those are 2 pretty good losses. I mean, obviously you never want to take a loss, but listen, Dangerfield.
I got a stat for you, Christian. Okay,
Go ahead.
5 district games for Dangerfield, they've allowed 6 points. 6 points in 5 games in district play. It's not too
right. That means I didn't type that right, because I said they've only yeah. I didn't type that right, because I thought that they gave up 14 the last game. And I don't know if
35-6 over Wascom.
Yeah. I don't know if the scoreboard was wrong, because that's what I saw, but no, Dangerfield, I just don't think they can be stopped.
All right, we're going to send it up to Kyle and see if Kyle, you with us?
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I?
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're with us.
Just stop. It's no internet connection on my phone, no internet connection for the TV. I'm doing this off a hotspot on my phone. This is ridiculous. Kind of half-rate operation are we running around here?
I will say something. What I do with you is just, you may not be on somebody's internet. I'll say that for a later date.
Anyway, I dipped out in the middle of Christian talking about the 2008 Sulphur Springs team. We don't talk about that team.
Hey, listen. The guy who was on who's coaching the team that beat at Chapel Hill. The guy who's coaching Chapel Hill was the offense coordinator when that happened. So you can blame him. You can blame him.
I'm blaming him. I'm blaming our coaching staff because, well, that's a story for a different day. Anyway, I'm taking. Give me Anna, because I never pick Sulphur Springs. So give me Anna.
That sounds like something Corey would say.
I'm still salty because we played closer than anybody else did in the playoff. And if our running back hadn't fumbled at the 1-yard line going into halftime, we would have been tied at 14. Anyway, it's a.
You guys think y'all would have made it to? I mean, do you guys really think y'all would have beat Dayton?
Hey, Kristen, wait, you didn't see these highlights that I got to see. Man, I was impressed by these Kyle Owens highlights that were dug out of the archives from way back when, man.
That was the college highlights that you saw.
Hey, it was pretty good highlights.
But it was still pretty good.
My point being, Christian, is that we played Sulphur closer than anybody else did in the playoffs. So if they went on to win state, then by theory, we could win on because I'm closer than anybody. Anyway, we're moving on. I pick Anna. Give me the Coyotes. Also, in the Dangerfield Harmony game, I got some thoughts on that one. I'm going to take Dangerfield, but check this stat out. The Dangerfield Tigers going into Friday night's game had not allowed a single point in district play, and they only gave up 6. to Wascom. So they've allowed 6 points in 5 district games. That's amazing. Do you remember the 1983 Dangerfield Tigers defense? Historically great. They allowed 8 points all season. So Dangerfield's used to playing good defense. You got Chase Johnson, quarterback. You got Aaron Bubba Hampton out there all over the field. Dangerfield's got some studs. But you know how I feel about Harmony. Harmony's my team. I ride with Harmony. I ride with them. So
Harmony.
I'm taking Dangerfield, but I do think this is going to be closer than the game's been in years past. The problem, Harmony recently has struggled with Dangerfield. It's always that last game of the year, and Dangerfield's gotten Harmony's number. Harmony was rolling last year when they met Dangerfield, lost before they went on that run to the state semifinals. I think Boston Seahorn, if he plays well, that was the other thing last year in that final game. Boston Seahorn got injured early on in that game. So that 48-21 final score, a little skewed because they were playing with a backup quarterback the entire time. At any rate, Boston Seahorn at quarterback, Evan Weber's back running the football for Harmony. You got Tyson Jenkins on the outside, big Braxton Baker up front playing offensive line, tight end, and defensive line. I think Harmony's going to give Dangerfield a run. I think Dangerfield's got a little too much speed on the outside for Harmony, so give me the Tigers. The Tigers.
Oh, Tigers. That was a lot. That was a lot with Sulphur Springs, and I forgot all about the Sulphur Springs scene. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of Sulphur Springs.
Don't worry, I haven't forgot about them for you.
It was one of the greatest teams ever. I mean,
shut your mouth.
I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that.
It was.
And
they had some studs though. They had some studs though. Let me real quick. Their offensive line had played together for all 4 years of they were all starting all 4 years of high school. So they had the same offensive line for 4 years. You had Tyreek Rollison at quarterback. You had Ryan Young at running back. Shane McQueen was on the outside. They had dudes all over the place, and they were big.
You said ever that's a bold statement to say.
I said
ever.
one of the greatest teams ever. One of them.
Oh, I don't even call them great. That's. Did they go undefeated?
No.
Okay, you can't.
They get in the playoffs though when it mattered.
I think they lost. Did they lose to a team in Dallas? I think.
I don't know.
Only the greats go undefeated. They are in the very top tier. Well, only the greats go undefeated. But anyway, that's just
hold on.
Yeah,
Before you move on. I got music playing in my ears too because I'm on Max Preps. But yeah, so they had 2 losses that season that they went to state. They lost to Longview and Texas High.
Oh, okay. So East Texas.
I give them credit for that one.
Those are both pretty good teams this year as well.
Yeah, back then when Texas High was Texas High.
Back then, Texas High had
really
Ryan
Mallett. Longview was Longview.
Right, that's what I said. Rest in peace, Ryan Mallett. That's when they were nasty.
And Nathan Swartzen backing him up behind him, who also went to Oklahoma State. Anyway, I digress. Carry on, Corey. I apologize.
But nonetheless, like you said before, I really like Harmony's story last year. I really did. I think Dangerfield's story this year is going to rival that. I think it's their year. They've done enough. They see the writing on the wall. This is now or nothing for them at this point. They got everything stacked up. They were young last year. They were supposed to win. They've got 2 losses this year against 2 very good football teams. Timpson has just beat everybody. And then, of course, Center's dominated on the offensive end. So, Dangerfield's seen pretty much enough, So, I don't think they've probably played anybody they couldn't.
Their quarterback, Chase Johnson, missed a few games there, too. So,
but defense travels. So, no matter what, if your defense is playing well right now, your defense is going to play well in the playoffs. So, I'm picking Dangerfield.
Hey, Kyle, who would these 2 teams match up against? Who was the different matchups?
Well, I'm glad you asked. They're going to match up with District 12 3A, that same district that's got Newton and Anderson Shiro in it, they'd be getting the bottom half of that district, which is New Waverly or Hemp Hill.
Okay.
So both those teams are 4-5 and 5-5.
Not as big a difference then.
New Waverly used to be good. They're not. And
Harmony,
I want you to take.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's weird if you got a chance. New Waverly went to a 4-day school schedule. I don't know if you guys knew about that. So they only go to school 4 days a week. That's weird. They kind of practice a weird schedule.
A lot of schools,
I don't know.
Do that here too.
Athens does as well.
Alba Golden does that.
4 days. Yeah. Oh, so that's why they did all trick plays. But anyway, so they had a whole day to come up with trick plays. That's awesome. Still didn't work. But hey, anyway, I digress. Let's move on. I just thought that was.
Well, hey, there's something you said was about to trigger something for me to say about Harmony. I forget what you said though. It was right as you started. That's why I was about to interrupt you. But it was right as you started.
Had a magical run last year.
I don't know. Never mind. Carry on. Moving on.
Speaking of magical runs, guys, the next one we have our game 8 and our pick'ems this week. A battle for the district championship. The Overton Mustangs coming in at 9-0 this year, 4-0 in district play, up against the Tenaha Tigers. Man, what a story for Overton. Kind of almost under the radar in some aspects. I mean, they haven't gotten many votes in any of our polls, or I think the win that I was impressed with most was they thumped Carlisle 38-14. After last year, Carlisle just mopped the floor with them. I know Carlisle's down, but nothing really impressive on their schedule. They've just won. I mean, they've played the closest game all year they had was the district game against Mount Enterprise, 35-30. But if you look at Tenaha, they've lost 2 games this year. We know how good ARP is and DCAB. Both those are really good teams. So that's nothing to scratch your nose at there. But they also played a close district game to Mount Enterprise. They lost or beat them by 2. So should be Overton by 3. I don't know. The game is not. It's in Tenaha. So Overton will have to go on the road. Man, this is a tough one for me. I really want Overton to win. And for that reason, I'm going to go with the Mustangs to go 10-0, go to Tenaha and get the win. I just think they're on a mission. There's a lot of things been going on at their school over this first semester, a lot of things going on. I know a lot of people at Overton, a lot of the administrators and stuff. And so I just think this will be huge for their school to get a district championship coming off a year that they didn't have very many wins at all. So I'm going to go with Overton in this one.
Listen, it's been a rough couple of years for Overton. I mean, they are not your average, team. They have struggled a lot. I mean, Overton has been something special this year. I mean, I picked them this year, because I have every single year, me and my uncle, we pick, laugh about it. Me, my uncle, my dad, some family members who know football, some of the guys, we kind of pick, East Texas, who's going to be a big factor this year. I only had Overton winning 1 game. I only had them winning 1 game this year, and that was Linden Kildare. That was pretty much it. I only had them winning 1 game. But to have a turnaround like they had, and also I think probably the best player on their team is Jaden Edwards. In my opinion, Jaden Edwards is the best player on the team. Vince, what's up? How you doing, man?
What's up, man?
Yep.
Y'all all right?
Yep, we're good. Jaden Edwards is probably the best player on their team at receiver. I mean, right now you look at the stats, he has 117 yards per game. I think last week I think he did go over 100 or sorry, 2 weeks ago I think he did go over 100 yards. So I'm gonna go with Overton to go 10-0. Now I'm gonna ask this question, Kyle. Do you think Overton right now is maybe a semifinal sleeper?
No.
Okay, I was just making sure because I've heard a lot of sleepers with a lot of teams that
Mart is in that region, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's usually where these Texas teams bow out, is that game.
And Lovelady's in that region too.
Oh, yeah, well, that's another one. Lovelady this year they haven't lost either. They're at 9-0 as well.
Right. So yeah, Lovelady and Mart in that same region. Yeah, I don't know. They are having a historic season. I mean, it's fantastic. And under a first-year head coach too, Scotty Lamance, he came over from Union Grove, first year being the head football coach there in Overton. And here's the crazy thing: they've got 9 wins this season alone. In the past 5 years combined, they got 5 wins in the past 5 seasons combined, including 2 winless seasons where they went 0-10. So this turnaround has been phenomenal. Bryce Steele, the quarterback, he's thrown for over 2,000 yards, 25 touchdowns. Also, like Christian was talking about, Jaden Edwards on the outside, but don't forget about Isaiah Hawkins as well. He's another stud receiver out there. Here's the question about Overton. Tenahaw's been in big games recently. They've had good teams historically. Overton hasn't played in many big games in recent years because they haven't been in that position. They made the playoffs last year, but they had 1 district win. So being 9-0 right now, they got to go to Tenaha for a big game, district title on the line. Can they live up to the hype? Can they play well under that pressure? Some teams don't handle pressure well. We don't really know what Overton can do with this team. We haven't seen them in pressure-packed situations. So Friday night will be a pressure-filled situation, but I'm loving the ride that Overton's on. So give me the Mustangs.
I'm going to say this. They've changed. Whatever Overton's done, it's equivalent to basketball. Like your half-court offense isn't working, so what do? All right, we're going to press. All right. And we're just gonna get a whole bunch of kids. We're just gonna press the whole game, like, and then all of a sudden, because we got some horses, we got some good athletes, and all of a sudden you just go on a win streak, and that obviously ends up working, right? What on earth did he change? What did he do? Clearly they had the same athletes there in forever, right? I mean, it ain't but like 100 kids in the whole school district, period, right? So you had the same athletes.
Yeah.
So, like, what did you do? Like, that's what I said. You had to change something. Something clicked. Because if not, this guy is not going to stay at Overton.
Change the culture.
Well, I was about to say, but you know as well as I do, sometimes you just need to hear a new voice. Sometimes it's just a new voice.
True.
You can hear the same thing over and over and over and over again, but you hear it from somebody else, you're like, oh, something clicks. So it could be Coach Lamance came in there and his message is being received better. I don't know.
And maybe the system that he has is fits what they have better.
Bro, I'm telling you this. He's not staying at Overton very long. That's all I'm gonna say. If they make anything past 3 rounds, he is not staying in Overton very long. That's all I'm saying. I don't care. I don't know how young he is. His phone is ringing off the hook.
Maybe he likes Overton.
Right?
Court.
Man, listen. You're not around coaches a long time.
They got a Berkshire's in Overton. They got a few things in Overton.
It does not matter. You got families you go where the money's taken. There ain't a lot of money in coaching. A lot of stress, but ain't a lot of money.
Here's the thing. Probably the other best player on the team that they have, Cash Fletcher, is averaging 10.4 solo tackles per game. And he has 7 sacks on the season. Well, excuse me, he actually has 8. So I mean, that's the other guy to look out for him. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh yeah, I did. I'm picking Overton.
Okay.
I'm picking Overton. I got my trap game towel.
Your trap game
towel. Got my trap game towel because Tenor Hall's been dominant, but it's overtime. I'm talking overtime. That's what it is. Overtime. I'm holding up the O. Overtime. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Vince, who you got?
Overton has done their thing this year. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not finna pick against Tennessee.
Oh,
I'm not finna pick against Tennessee.
Wow.
You woke on the wrong side of the bed, man.
No, yeah.
I did. I don't care. I don't care.
You woke up with disrespect on your mind.
He comes in first pick. He misses the first 7. He comes in. He's disrespectful to Overton. Man, that's just.
No. I love what they've been managed to do. But let's be. No, I'm not gonna be like that. But I'm just saying.
You're gonna say,
let's
be
honest. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. I wasn't gonna say that.
Don't do him like that.
Ride the wave.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm trying to figure out. I'm looking at their schedule. I don't see anybody that I don't know. I don't know a lot. I know some of these teams, and I'm like, okay,
so it's Overton by 3.
Ain't good.
Mount Enterprise. Overton beat Mount Enterprise by 5. Tenor beat them by 2. So it's Overton by 3. There you go.
Very true. Very true. But then Tenor played ARP, and we know ARP is good. That was a tougher game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Tenor right now. Who knows? I may change my mind.
No, you can't change. You sound like someone else. You can't change your pick. No, wishy-washy.
Hey, Brett. Here's the thing. We may change it anyway on Friday. So
before Friday get here.
Yeah.
As long as I don't put it in.
Then you come back to the show and you say, "Oh, I won that game." No. Can't do that because I got to record it on what you picked.
What did you pick? Said that dumb thing, but I didn't pick them.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. They were talking.
You know what? I'll take. Give me Overton. I'll take Overton. I don't know.
Peer pressure.
Hey, listen. Here's the thing. I picked. Listen, we had a game set up between Anna and Sulphur Springs, and I brought up Salina. I don't know who. I forgot who said Salina.
I said Salina. I said that Anna's only loss on the year was a 2-point loss.
Yeah. So I said. So he said Salina, and I said, and I meant to say Anna. I'm probably going to change that later. There's nothing you can do about it either, as long as it's
actually. I own this. I own the app. I can change it, make you pick whoever you want, whoever I say.
But anyway, so I said Salina has a better ground and pound offense,
Yeah.
And everybody was like,
so basically, Salina is so good that they don't even have to be at the game. They're still going to win the game between Anna and Sulphur Springs, is what you're saying.
No, to be honest with you, I'm just going to go ahead and change my pick. I'm going to go with Anna. I'm just going to go ahead and do it because I got Anna going to the 4th round this year. I don't think they're going to beat China Spring, but yeah, I got Anna going to the 4th round, so I'm gonna go with Anna. That was just to change what happened earlier in the show. I had to redeem myself.
Wishy-washy. All right, game 9. This is another district matchup for the district championship. 2 undefeated teams. We've got Timpson and Garrison. Man, this is a really good one, guys. We've talked a lot about how good Timpson is this year. I think Garrison, honestly, has been kind of under the radar, I'd say, in a lot of people's mind. I mean, they've have some good wins on their schedule. The best win on their schedule right now to me is the ARP win, 48-20. At that point, we didn't know how good ARP was, but now ARP being as good as they are in the step of class above, they've just gone through district, like they were planned on it. Win every game, 9-0, 5-0 in district play. But I mean, Timpson's just been stomping on folks, like donkey stomping everybody. I don't see any way that Timpson loses this game. It's in Timpson. It's senior night for Terry Bussey. There's no way he's going off that field with a loss. Give me Timpson by as many points as they want.
Well, listen. I mean, obviously these two teams, Timpson and Garrison, they're all good. I'm sorry, they're both good, but JJ Gardner for Timpson is probably the guy to look out for. Obviously, we already know Terry Bussey. Terry Bussey's pretty good, but no, he won't. No, he won't go off that field with the loss. I don't think so. I have Timpson going to the state championship this year, guys. I don't know if I told you. I have them going to state this year. Now, will they? We don't know. But the team that they have, I mean, it's kind of hard to pick against them. But no, Terry Bussey's not losing this game. Walking off the field with a loss, sorry. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Timpson.
I think this is going to be a really good game. Last year, these two teams played. It was a 44-38 win for Timpson. This –
oh, no.
Uh-oh.
He froze again.
Did he freeze?
Yeah, he's having some.
He's froze twice.
Well, that was a good thought. I was hanging on the edge of my seat there for what Kyle was about to say.
Yeah.
All right, Corey, you want to go ahead?
He might just be in deep thought.
Locked him up. Still writing it down.
Yeah.
I could literally hear him from the background, by the way.
I'm gonna make it quick. It's Timpson. They're on a mission. You know, Bussey and them, they're not. They're on a mission right now. This is gonna be Timpson.
Vince?
Okay. I'm gonna pick Timpson, but man, I've been wanting to see some Titan fall this year, and I ain't got it yet. You know, I ain't got what I really wanted yet. So if Garrison win, I'd be happy. I'd be happy to see Garrison pull this off. But I'm gonna go with Timpson because I need the points.
All right, Kyle, you were in deep thought earlier when we lost you.
Lee, I'm about tired of this.
I'm hanging on the edge of my seat, just waiting to hear what you have to say. So go ahead.
So anyway, as I was saying, Timpson had a tough non-district schedule. They played Beckville, Jefferson, and Dangerfield their first 3 games and took care of business against all 3 of them. To that point, Garrison's best game is against Art. That's not a slight on Art. It's just that's the toughest team that Garrison has had to play this year. Terry Bussey, a couple weeks ago, I don't know if y'all saw this highlight or not, he was returning a punt. He muffed the punt, and it got stuck at the 1 yard line. Then the next play, he took a quarterback run and went 99 yards to the crib. Even when he makes a mistake, he makes up for it. So Terry Bussey is phenomenal. Garrison hasn't beaten Timpson since 2018. So they're hungry for a win over the Timpson Bears. And the Garrison likes to run the ball a lot. They're a ground and pound. They have 2 1,000-yard rushers. Omarion Raspberry, he's got 1,100 yards rushing and 19 touchdowns. And his backfield mate, JV Black, has also eclipsed 1,000 yards and has 12 touchdowns. So I think this is going to be a really tough game for Timpson. I don't think they're running away with it like y'all were saying, with as many as they want. I don't think it'll be that. I think it'll be a really close game. And but I'm taking Timpson. I'm not betting against Bussey and them boys. Not a chance. But I do think it'll be a close game.
All right. Game 10. Gonna be a lot of eyes on this.
Oh boy.
Kyle's already there. He's in Chapel Hill.
I'll see y'all Friday, guys.
As the NETSN, that's gonna be the NETSN game of the week. We'll all be there, I think, pretty much. As Chapel Hill will host Kilgore for a district championship matchup. A lot of things, a lot of scenarios in here, guys, and I have them here for y'all that don't know how this is going to shake out. Give me a second. I'm gonna pull them up on my computer and let you know where everything stands. As of right now, it's a plus minus for between Lindale, Kilgore, and Chapel Hill right now. So if Chapel Hill was to win, this would come into effect. Lindale is at a -3. They're frozen. As they've already played both teams. Chapel Hill's at -12 with their 12-point loss to Lindale. And Kilgore's at a +15, which is a max the max spread you can get in the district as far as the district bylaws. So, if Chapel Hill loses or wins by less than 10, it would be Kilgore, Lindale, Chapel Hill in that order, and then the Athens Palestine winner. If Chapel Hill wins by 10 to 13 points, it'll be Kilgore, Chapel Hill, Lindale, the Athens Palestine winner. If Chapel Hill wins by more than 13, which would be 14 or more, then Chapel Hill's 1, Kilgore 2, Lindale 3, and then the Athens Palestine winner. So, a lot of scenarios up in the air here for this one. But for any of those to be in effect, Chapel Hill has to come out and win this game. I was really concerned about this game for Chapel Hill a few weeks ago after the Lindale loss. They seem to have the last couple games kind of straightened some things out. I know Athens kind of gave them problems at first, but I mean, you have to remember that's a weird situation. I mean, you had a delay. You had to go back to Athens after being there the night before. The kids having to get up the next day, something out of their I guess, routine. So the first part of the game, I throw all that out the window because, you don't know what they're going to do. They kind of enforced their will late and took care of Athens. I think this will be a close game. I don't know if Chapel Hill can beat Kilgore by 2 touchdowns. I don't know if that's going to happen. I do think Chapel Hill gets the win. I think the home field advantage will be close. I think the stadium's going to be packed. Crowd will be into it. The bands will be into it. It's going to be a great atmosphere to be at a game. I think Chapel Hill wins a close one and splits the district up, and then we'll see where everything falls.
Can you guys hear me? Because I kind of lost a little bit of connection. Okay. So, I'm just gonna give y'all a quick, look over of what Kilgore is. I'm gonna start with Kilgore on this. Their only loss this year is to number 1 Carthage, and they almost beat Carthage. They lost by 3 points, and if it had not been for a bad call on PJ Wiley, they probably would have won that game. Listen, but other than that, they've won every single game. They beat Gilmer, Pine Tree, Hallsville, Palestine, Jacksonville. They dominated Lindale, where I had picked Lindale to win that game. I picked them to win. I said that they were too big on offense, and Lindale just had the better bunch. But it was close, and then all of a sudden, Kyle's team just went and fell back down to earth. But, we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, they've beaten Henderson, and then last week they had a they had a tough patch against Athens. And I think what happened was Athens pretty much did the same thing Lindale did to Chapel Hill. It was pretty off and on. Listen, obviously you guys know me being a former player at Chapel Hill, this is very personal to me. We do not like Kilgore in Chapel Hill. We never have. They used to kick the crap out of us all the time before 2021. And then there was one fateful night in November, the day after Thanksgiving, where Chapel Hill comes out victorious against, a juggernaut Kilgore, who many people thought was the best team in Division I, and the rest was history. And then after that, all you saw was district title win over Kilgore in Kilgore. That was a big win. To go up in that stadium and beat Kilgore is that's saying a lot of what Chapel Hill was. And then obviously we beat them Rose Stadium. Now, here's the thing. Let me tell you what's happened since then, and I'm gonna try to be real quick on this one. At right after China Spring, right after they lost to Melissa, Kilgore basically took over as the number 1 defense in Division I. That's basically what happened. In a lot of people's eyes, I don't know about you guys, but in a lot of people's eyes, that's basically what happened. Kilgore has been unbelievable, and a lot of people are saying Kilgore may be better than last year. We don't know. you know, they had Isaiah Ross last year, running back, and then I think this year now they have 2, maybe 3 good running backs on their team, plus a good quarterback. Their offensive line is pretty sound. I mean, this game is going to be one of those games that you just look at and one bad play could decide this game. One bad play could decide this game. We've seen interception in the back of the end zone to Ricky by Javen Mayfield from Ricky Stewart running over Kilgore's defense last year to seeing Demetrius Brisbane be clutch in the playoff game last year. I don't know how this game is going to go. I have it being 41-38. I'm going to go with Chapel Hill because I think that based off what we've seen from their defense, and their defense has gotten a lot better since we saw them play Lindale. Their defense is basically going to pretty much make Kilgore uncomfortable because we see Kilgore all the time run up the middle. Offensively, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. I see. No. I love Ricky Stewart. I think he's probably, like I said, he's the second best running back behind Taylor Tatum in the state of Texas right now. It's gonna be tough to run the ball against his defense. But the question is, and I think this is one thing that Spence asked a couple of weeks ago when he was on the show, can Demetrius Brisbane beat throw the ball? Can he throw the ball and beat Kilgore? We're going to find out. I say yes, they're going to beat Kilgore.
Okay. Kyle? Oh, I thought you were froze. I was like,
no, yeah, I think this is going to be a really good game. I'll talk about it more tonight about the Chapel Hill Athens game, but I think Chapel Hill's defense is playing a lot better now than they were earlier in the year, which is what you would expect out of a good team. They did better stopping the run up the middle, which is where they've been getting gashed here recently. Excuse me, not up the middle. There is no such thing as up the middle. The down blocks and kickouts going through the A gap and B gap. That's where the runs were happening.
Okay,
Anyway,
okay.
I was informed that there was no runs up the middle this weekend. So, anywho, the game will be really good. I think it's going to be a really tight game. It's in Chapel Hill. I think that gives a little advantage to Chapel Hill. Kilgore, man, Kilgore's on another level this year. Like it's been talked about, their one loss to Carthage earlier in the year by only 3 points. They've been rolling since then. Had a couple of scares with a couple of teams. Give me the Bulldogs. Can I just pick the Bulldogs? That way I'm not wrong.
Man, wow.
No, it's gonna be a good one. And Kilgore has lost 3 straight against Chapel Hill. 2 of them in the playoffs and once in the regular season that Kilgore has lost to Chapel Hill. So Kilgore is hungry for a dub over Chapel Hill. I'm taking Kilgore. Give me Kilgore over Chapel Hill for the
Whoa. Oh, no. Oh, man.
I mean, honestly, it's not a big take. It's not a big take. Kilgore is good.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. And I'm gonna say this right now. Here's the thing. Right now, the state. Right now, they have Kilgore beating Chapel Hill. So it's really not. It's really not even a bad take.
It's not a big stake. No.
If okay,
this
I'm
game go either way.
If Chapel Hill was like teetering like where Athens and Palestine is, I probably would have picked Kilgore. I know I played for them, and I know that's not going to make a lot of people happy. I'm just saying, I would probably pick Kilgore if they were like teetering somewhere towards 4th. maybe, third, and they have to win this game, to get a fourth seed or third, whatever. But no, this game basically is just saying, okay, who's the best? Who's the best in this district? All right, because even though even though they beat Chapel Hill, nobody still thinks. Some people think it's Lindale, but that's probably just Lindale fans. But no, I just, it's not a bad take. I just think that they're hungry this year. I know Coach Fuller is hyping those guys up. They got a lot of returning players. So we'll see what happens. And one question I do want to ask: if Chapel Hill were to lose, they would play LCM, right?
They'll be the third seed. Kyle, do you have that?
Because I think that's what happened. I think Lumberton beat LCM.
Yes, if Chapel Hill wins, whoever's the 3 seeds play in Little Cypress Mauriceville, and whoever's the 4 seeds play in Lumberton. Livingston and Vider have to play each other this week to figure out who's going to be the 3 and 4, or the 1 and 2. 3 and 4. Yeah, 3 and 4.
Right. Okay.
That's going to be a tough task.
That district's a mess.
Yeah, it is.
Corey?
Yes, you want to go?
Or Vince? One of you
All
guys?
right, I think I know Vince going.
I don't be honest with you. I don't really know. I'm probably gonna be wrong regardless who I pick. So go ahead.
We've done this. I'll be glad when these districts don't play each other. I'm glad these two teams don't play each other district. But it's not gonna happen. They're gonna always play each other district because listen, Chapel is more or less about how I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it. I think Chapel Hill's gotten everybody's best shot this year, no matter who they play. They've gotten everybody's best shot, right? They're gonna get Kilgore's best shot. I'm trying to figure out what game would be Kilgore's best game. Because I think Kilgore's a good football team. I don't think they're better than Chapel Hill. Even before this year, I didn't think they were better than Chapel Hill. I think defensively, they have a great game plan, and I think they have better defensive players because their football coach is a defensive guy. So obviously, their defense is going to be their forefront, right? This is logical, right? So eventually it matches up. We got an offensive coach, they got a defensive coach. So those two are going to clash either way it goes. So that's how it goes. But is Kilgore that much better than Chapel? Is Chapel that much better than Kilgore? You just don't know. Whoever plays the best on Friday wins the game. That's pretty much what it boils down to. And because the only way you're gonna pick a favorite is if you're for Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill's gonna pick a Chapel Hill. You Kilgore, you're gonna pick Kilgore. You know what I'm saying? Unless Kilgore was undefeated, they beat Carthage by 45 points. Probably Kilgore at this point, right? And I just don't think Chapel Hill is going to be able to hang with those guys at this point. I don't know what Chapel Hill team shows up. This is the other thing I'm afraid of too. Is it going to be the Chapel Hill team that we saw that played their best football last year in Kilgore? That was the best Chapel Hill football y'all played all year long. Playoffs or no? I don't even know that Chapel Hill football team out there playing against Kilgore. I ain't never seen a football team like that. Last time I saw a football team like that, they won state. I'm just gonna be honest, because that Kilgore football team, like, man, they coming to Kilgore and tapping hats. What's going on?
So Corey, let me throw something at you, Corey, for this to kind of talk about how Kilgore's played. So they haven't scored a lot of points except for a few games. So to me, in this matchup, I think Kilgore wants a low-scoring, grinded-out game. I don't think they want to get a shootout.
They won. I know what they won. I don't care about. To me, I don't want to look at who they played, who's played what. It doesn't matter to me. All that matters at this point is who plays the best football. Because Kilgore can beat Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill can beat Kilgore. Who plays the best? Who is going to be at their best against each other on Friday? That's what it boils down to. I think, honestly, I believe Kilgore's played their best at some point. I don't think Chapel Hill's played their best at some point. I think they've played pretty far up. I think probably Chapel Hill's best offensive game this year was probably against Gilman. I think that was their best offensive game because they wanted it to be. And look how dominant they wanted it to be at that point, where they wanted to really beat Gilman. Does Chapel Hill really want to beat Kilgore that bad? Can Kilgore's defense dominate against Chapel Hill's offense? So that's the question that I have. So I don't want to look at the schedule because the schedule's not going to be big. Because both of these teams are really good. They can both go far. It's just what team shows up and who shows up when. I don't know. I'm a Chapel Hill guy. I'm going to Chapel Hill. My gut's telling me Chapel Hill wins the game. It's fortuitous. I picked them to win early on this year. I didn't pick them to go undefeated, but I did pick them to lose a game. They lost that game. They needed to lose that game. I don't think they lose against Kilgore. That's why I'm picking.
Okay. Man, honestly, I don't know which one of these teams are better. I don't even think it matters really. Like they remind me so much of them and Long and Lindale remind me so much of like when I'm watching the NFC East play. Like it don't matter how great the Eagles are. Like today, it don't matter how great they are. They struggled against Washington, and Washington could have easily took that game from them. You know, and that's kind of how these games are. It's like it don't matter how great Chapel Hill is. It don't matter how great Kilgore is or how great Lindale is. When they face each other, it is always a battle, and it doesn't always have to. It's not always that the best team comes out. It's kind of like you're saying, Corey, who shows up that day. You know, who plays their best football that day. You know, I I don't know. I mean, the homer in me wants to say Chapel Hill, but I don't have a reason for anybody if I say Chapel Hill. I if then I'm thinking logically, I'm remembering the schedule with the Carthage game, and I'm still thinking in my head like that matters in some aspect, right? But it was week 1 too, so I'm arguing myself with that too with Kilgore. Like that was week 1. Is it the same now? I don't know. All I'll tell you is that whoever wins this game is probably going to be because they make adjustments in the second half. You know, these are two good teams, and they gonna throw their best punch in the first half, and honestly, it's probably not gonna be enough. And it's gonna be the adjustments that they make in the second half that pull it off. Um, hmm.
I remember when Coach said it. He was like, "It's my horses against your horses."
Yeah, yeah. I don't.
That's just what it is. Like at this point, it ain't gonna matter. X's and O's ain't got nothing to do with this. You know what to do. It's 11. It's 11 on 11 every individual battle. You got to whoop the man in front of you every single play.
Pick this game. I
no
don't
matter
want to
what.
pick this.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one.
Is that why when you normally do the games, you don't have to pick them, right? I mean, is that how Herb Street gets out? He didn't when he does those game day stuff. He doesn't make the picks on the games he's doing. Maybe that's why.
It could be Herb Street.
That is.
I don't know.
I ain't never thought about that. That is smart.
When it ticks me off when Herb Street always goes for Ohio State. That really did tick me off a little bit.
Yeah,
Ohio State wins every game.
For it.
So here's my take, and Corey may not agree with me, but this is the way I think the game is going to go. I think if it's a high-scoring game shootout, I think Chapel Hill wins. I think if the game stays low, and it's more like kind of when Chapel Hill played Lindale, where it's 20 and 30 points for each team, I think Kilgore has the advantage, and they have the. So I mean, 40 is kind of the middle there, but I think if it's a high-scoring game, I think Chapel Hill has the advantage.
And see, that's what I'm telling myself in my head. But then I'm like, it's like I'm literally arguing with myself. Like,
what
if it's gonna go high scoring, then you have to admit that Kilgore defense that's been there all year is not gonna show up. And it's like, can you say that out loud? And I'm like, nah, I can't. I can't say that.
Okay, let me. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Y'all good? Okay. Let me say this. I'm actually gonna refer before I pass the call. I'm gonna refer from what I said. I still have Chapel winning this game. Listen, when we played Kilgore last year, our mostly our game plan, punch him in the mouth, basically. Punched him in the mouth. Let's soften, because we already knew we were probably going to see Kilgore again. And when we probably see them again after we beat the heck out of them, that's probably they're probably going to be a little mad. They're going to be upset, and then their chances increase of beating us. But we're still going to come out, win, get to the fourth or fifth round or whatever. And fortunately, it was a fifth round. We barely threw the ball against Kilgore. Ricky Stewart was the workhorse of that game. Yes, Demetrius Brisbane threw 2 touchdowns to both Alonzo McGregor and Javen Mayfield. But let me just go ahead and say this right now. Somebody told me last year from Kilgore's team, and I'm not going to say who it is. Somebody from Kilgore's team last year said our defense will be better next year, because we had just beat them in a playoff game. They said our defense will be better next year. And if you want to be honest, we're probably going to be one of the best defenses probably the best defense in the district, maybe in the division. And the one thing that they were talking about was, they were like, okay, that quarterback number 3 at Chapel Hill, which Demetrius Brisbane, they were like, questioning, can he really throw the ball to beat us? That's what we're looking at, really, to be honest with you. Chapel Hill.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Chapel Hill. That's what everybody. I personally think that if he has time, if the offensive line gives him time, and if he can find somebody open, he's just pick them apart. Like at least throw the ball like maybe 11 or 12 times in the game, just to see what he can do, as far as picking the defense apart. But that's what we're technically. I think that's what most people are looking at. Can Demetrius Brisbane throw the ball, and can they win that game that way? If they stop, the only way I think that Kilgore will win this game is if they stop Ricky Stewart, and if they dominate the line of scrimmage. If they dominate the line of scrimmage on offense, Kilgore is going to win this game. If they dominate the line of scrimmage, Kilgore's going to win this game. But on defense, it's like, okay, can they stop Ricky Stewart? Can they stop Ricky Stewart? We already know that.
Well, they dominate the line of scrimmage, they had to stop. I mean,
yeah. So
if they dominate the line of scrimmage, it's going to be stopped. He's going to be stopped. They stop the run anyway.
Well, no, I'm talking about when I was talking about dominate the line of scrimmage, I was talking about offense.
Well, in the playoffs, they held him to under 100 yards rushing in that playoff game. It was more Brisbane and what
Brisbane
he was able to
rush
do.
over 100.
Yeah, Brisbane was able to throw and rush to get him out of there with that, what was it, 3-point lead or whatever. I'm just gonna go out. You know what? At the beginning of the year, after that Carthage game, I felt like it was gonna be Kilgore. I'm gonna go with Kilgore again because I don't want to hold nobody, but I'm probably gonna be wrong. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm probably gonna be wrong because there's no way to know for sure what's gonna happen in this game.
Yeah, this game is a toss-up.
I got a feeling that when we get there Friday night, we will be surprised as to what happens. And either way, whoever wins, congratulations. I'm not the type of person that's always like, ref this or ref that. So whoever wins, wins. And then we move on, and maybe we see each other again. Maybe these two teams meet in the playoffs.
It's a very good chance that we have another rematch at some point.
Yeah.
Down the line.
But this is what I wanted anyway. I just didn't want to pick it. I wanted to see these two teams battle it out.
I'm gonna leave off by saying this. Mentally, it makes a difference for Chapel Hill to beat a team that's been dominating them for years.
Absolutely.
So is it that Kilgore has to beat Chapel Hill, or is it that Chapel Hill has to beat Kilgore? Because the mentality is different. Because if you're Chapel Hill, no, we've beaten them 3 times already. They got to come beat us. Or is it, no, they're coming here. You see what I'm saying? Different mentality.
Because you can look at it the other way and be like, they stopped our run last year. We lost them by 3 in the playoff game. We got to get it back.
What's the
I
mentality
don't know.
here?
Like, both teams have motives. Both teams have motives, and they have great teams. It's going to come down to those adjustments of the coaches. And I don't judge coaches, so I don't know. I don't know what coaches are doing when they're looking at them tablets.
Defensive guy. I don't know.
I am, and honestly,
it's easy. It's easier to rattle a defense than it is an offense. Defense, you look at Alvin Mack. That's all I'm gonna say. I rest my case. Alvin Mack needs no motivation.
Well, needless to say, I think it's going to be a good one. And
it will.
The NETSN game of the week, the full ends on deck on this one. We'll have Vince and I'll be in the booth. Do we have a guest person in the booth this week?
I got to be a guest.
See him, go on in.
Football game. It's my first football game, and I'm not gonna bring my trap towel. It's not a trap towel.
Yeah, leave that trap towel at home. Leave that trap towel at home.
We don't know what that means. Yeah, this is too even. We don't need that.
No, we're not gonna do that. It's not gonna be a trap game.
We'll have there, and then we'll have Mr. Red Zone there. I hear.
Hey, I'll be there all game.
Thanks
to some people at NetSN for hooking me up with some internet.
Yeah, it kind of helps to have an in since you're part of NetSN. It kind of helps a little bit, doesn't it?
It does help a lot. This is the game I'm looking forward to the most. I mean, I know that it's probably a question you're about to ask, Brett, but this is my game. Kilgore Chapel Hill is the one that I am looking forward to the most. It's been hyped up since game 1 at the start of the year. We knew at the end of the season we had Kilgore Chapel Hill to look forward to, final week of the regular season. It's here now, and other than actually, since this is airing Wednesday, after now, Hayes in the barn. Like it's what it is. Like it's Friday night. Mm-hmm. 2 good teams are going to go out there and battle, and that's what I was going to add. I'm picking Kilgore, but I'm not going to be surprised if Chapel Hill wins. Like it's not going to be an upset to me. Like
it's not going to be a surprise whoever wins the game.
Whoever wins, these 2 teams are evenly matched. You could flip a coin, and I'm good with whoever. So I just hope it's a good game.
It's close enough for me that if this game was in Kilgore, that I might have gone with Kilgore. Honestly, I think it's going to be that close of a matchup, just because I think the home crowd, it's a lot easier to beat a team when you got your home crowd. The hype of the game is going to be there. It's just a different playing at home.
And that's how crazy this game is, because there's so many different reasons to pick either one of these teams. Like it is. I haven't felt this way all year about any team. About not seeing one game that we've picked, but now I'm beside myself.
Remember last time I told you to pick a team, Brett? You pick Chapel Hill this week. Pick them. All right, you pick.
Now last week,
Corey, don't walk into this like you know what's gonna happen.
No. I didn't pick a team. I didn't tell you to pick a team last week. I told you to pick a team the week before. That was Tyler High. You would pick a Tyler High Lufkin. I said pick Tyler High. No. Okay, all right.
Well, I could have sworn that you guys were telling me last week to pick another team in red, and we'll talk about that tonight. But don't worry, we'll definitely talk about that one tonight.
I stand by it. I do it again.
I do too. I watched the game, so I got a lot to talk about.
Okay,
I can tell you exactly why they lost.
All right.
I was on the phone. I'm just gonna say this real quick. I was on the phone with Corey, and I told Corey I was trying to write in to the show so I could tell Van what they need to get out. Bro, I got a lot to talk about. We'll see y'all on Wednesday.
That's a great tease right there.
That's tonight. Tonight. Tune in tonight at 8:30 p.m. So that's going to do it for this week's. This is our last regular season of Beasts from the East show. We'll be back next week to talk playoffs here on NSN.
Playoffs.
So for Corey, Vince, Kyle, and Christian, who's already jetted out, went off to somewhere else. We'll catch you next week right here on NSN, the Power Plus Mouth Guard Beast from the East show. Night, everybody.
Go Bulldogs.
Truly, before now, I didn't really know what actually a mouthpiece was designed for, other than to keep you from clinking your teeth together or biting your tongue. I had no idea that it was to align your jaw. The season that we did not use a Power Plus, we lost 4 kids, 2 that were season-ending concussions, and obviously we contributed to the Power Plus mouth guard because, like I said, we've not had one since we've been using them. Obviously, we've competed a lot better than what we did last year. We have not had a concussion this season. Obviously, a tremendous factor for us for not losing kids, and their performance level is a lot higher as well. My son was actually the quarterback on the second state championship team, but one of the things that he was able to do as being the quarterback, the mouth guard was on the lower part of his bite, so he was able to speak clearly. And that's a huge thing in athletics, is to be